Today, we're diving into the captivating realm of mythical creatures and exploring one of my all-time favorite legends, the mysterious Sasquatch. I still vividly recall the spark that ignited my fascination with this mysterious being. It was during my childhood, at a monster truck rally, where I first laid eyes on a gigantic truck dubbed Bigfoot. The sheer size and power of that vehicle left me awestruck, but the name captured my curiosity. I turned to my parents, wondering where this moniker originated from, and they regaled me with tales of a towering ape-like creature said to roam the dense forests of North America. From that moment on, I became hooked. The mystery of Sasquatch captivated me. I've spent years reading articles, watching documentaries, and hearing stories about this strange creature. Here's a summary of the most credible data about Sasquatch that I've gathered. Sasquatch, a scientific examination of the legend. The legend of the Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot, is deeply embedded in North American folklore. Described as a large, hairy, ape-like creature standing between 6 and 10 feet tall, Sasquatch is said to inhabit remote forests, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. Thousands of sightings have been reported over the last 2 centuries, accompanied by alleged footprints, audio recordings, and even hair and scat samples. Yet, despite the abundance of claims, the scientific community remains skeptical. This essay explores the Sasquatch phenomenon from a scientific standpoint, evaluating the types of evidence presented and the methodologies used to investigate them. Before delving into the scientific scrutiny, it's important to acknowledge the cultural roots of the Sasquatch legend. Indigenous tribes across North America have long passed down stories of giant forest dwellers. For example, the Sts Ales people of British Columbia have oral traditions that speak of the Sasquatch, a wild man of the woods. Similar legends appear among tribes from California to Alaska. While these stories provide historical depth, they do not constitute empirical evidence. Instead, they reflect cultural interpretations of unexplained phenomena, often blending myth and observation. The modern Sasquatch legend gained traction in 1958 when large footprints were discovered near Bluff Creek, California. A newspaper article popularized the term Bigfoot, and the myth entered mainstream consciousness. Proponents of Sasquatch's existence typically present several types of evidence. 1. Eyewitness reports. 2. Footprints. 3. Audio recordings. 4. Photographs and videos. 5. Hair, feces, and other biological samples. Each of these categories warrants scientific analysis. Let's start with eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness reports are the most common form of Sasquatch evidence, with thousands documented across decades. Witnesses often describe a tall bipedal creature covered in dark fur, emitting foul odors and moving with surprising agility. While the volume of reports might seem persuasive, eyewitness testimony is considered one of the weakest forms of evidence in scientific inquiry. Numerous psychological studies demonstrate the unreliability of human memory and perception, especially under stress or in ambiguous situations. Factors such as distance, lighting, and preconceived beliefs can heavily influence what people think they see. Additionally, many reported encounters occur in dense forests or during brief moments, further increasing the chance of misidentification. For instance, bears standing on their hind legs, humans in costumes, or even large birds have been mistaken for Sasquatch. Without corroborating evidence, anecdotal sightings cannot support scientific conclusions. Footprints are among the most tangible forms of alleged Sasquatch evidence. Some tracks are over 15 inches long with clear dermal ridges. Notably, Dr. Grover Krantz, a physical anthropologist at Washington State University, and Dr. Jeff Meldrum, an anatomist at Idaho State University have argued that certain footprints show anatomical features consistent with a non-human primate. There are two issues here: authenticity and interpretation. In authenticity, many Bigfoot tracks have been hoaxes. In the original 1958 Bluff Creek case, a man later admitted to faking the tracks with carved wooden feet. Since then, other individuals have confessed to similar deceptions. Interpretation. Even assuming some prints are not hoaxes, interpreting them as belonging to a new species requires more than morphology. The scientific method demands reproducibility and a clear lineage of evidence. Without accompanying biological samples, e.g. DNA, a footprint alone is insufficient proof of a new species. Moreover, the physical characteristics of purported Sasquatch tracks often vary widely, lacking the consistency expected from a stable population of animals. Audio recordings. Some Sasquatch enthusiasts claim to have captured vocalizations such as howls, screams, or wood-knocking, repetitive banging sounds allegedly used by Sasquatch to communicate. In the 1970s, the Sierra sounds were recorded by Al, Berry and Ron Moorhead in the Sierra Nevada mountains. These sounds have been analyzed by experts, including linguists and cryptozoologists, who argue they show non-human vocal patterns. However, mainstream scientists find such claims problematic. No verified source has linked the sounds to an unknown primate. Wildlife biologists note that animals like foxes, owls, and elk can produce surprisingly eerie and human-like noises. Without visual confirmation or corroborating data, these recordings remain unverified curiosities. Photographs and videos. The most famous piece of visual evidence is the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film, which appears to show a large ape-like creature walking along Bluff Creek in Northern California. The Patterson-Gimlin film has been both hailed and ridiculed. Supporters claim the musculature and gait of the creature are too complex for a human in a costume. Skeptics argue that the footage is consistent with a man in a fur suit, citing costume technology available at the time. No credible peer-reviewed study has definitively validated the film as evidence of an unknown species. Advances in digital imaging have not revealed new details, and no follow-up evidence from the area has corroborated the sighting. In science, a single unrepeatable event, especially one so susceptible to fabrication, holds little weight. Biological samples. Perhaps the most promising avenue for proof lies in biological material, hair, feces, blood, or bones. Numerous samples have been submitted for DNA analysis over the years. Dr. Brian Sykes, a geneticist at Oxford University, conducted a major study on alleged Yeti and Bigfoot samples in 2014. Out of over 30 samples analyzed, most turned out to be from known animals: bears, dogs, horses, and deer. 2 samples from the Himalayas matched an ancient polar bear, suggesting a possible unknown hybrid, but not a primate. No verified sample has ever yielded DNA from an unknown hominid or non-human primate species. In science, DNA is the gold standard for identifying species, and to date, Sasquatch DNA has not been found. The fossil record. Another major challenge for the Sasquatch hypothesis is the complete absence of physical remains, no skeletons, skulls, or bones. If a large primate species has existed in North America for centuries, its remains should appear in the fossil record. The fossil record in North America includes many extinct mammals, including mammoths, mastodons, and large bears. Yet, there is no evidence of a bipedal ape. Some proponents cite Gigantopithecus, a massive ape species from Asia, as a potential ancestor. However, Gigantopithecus is known only from jaw fragments and teeth, and there's no evidence it migrated to North America or walked upright. Furthermore, large animals leave significant ecological footprints, food sources, territorial markers, and physical waste. The lack of these signs further undermines the idea of a breeding population of hidden primates, scientific consensus, and cryptozoology. Cryptozoology, the study of hidden or unknown animals, is not a recognized scientific discipline. Most practicing zoologists and biologists consider it pseudoscientific because it lacks methodological rigor, relies heavily on anecdotal evidence, and rarely subjects claims to peer review. Scientists do remain open to discovery. New species are identified every year, including mammals. However, these discoveries follow rigorous processes: fieldwork, biological sampling, peer-reviewed documentation, and reproducible results. The case for Sasquatch lacks these essential elements. Moreover, the burden of proof lies with the claimant. In science, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The continued absence of a body, verified DNA, or consistent physical evidence suggests that Sasquatch is more likely a cultural phenomenon than a biological reality. So why does belief persist? Despite the lack of scientific support, belief in Sasquatch remains strong. Several factors explain this. 1. Human pattern recognition. Our brains are wired to detect patterns and assign meaning even where none exists. This is called pareidolia. 2. Love of mystery. Humans are naturally drawn to the unknown. The idea that something mysterious could be hiding in the woods excites the imagination. 3. Distrust of authority. Some believe that scientists or governments are hiding the truth. Conspiracy thinking often thrives in ambiguous contexts. 4. Economic incentives. The Bigfoot industry generates tourism, documentaries, merchandise, and books. There are incentives to keep the legend alive. Conclusion: the Sasquatch phenomenon reflects a fascinating intersection of folklore, psychology, and modern media. However, from a scientific perspective, the evidence falls short. Eyewitness reports are unreliable, footprints and audio recordings are inconclusive or easily faked, and no biological samples have validated the creature's existence. While open-mindedness is a virtue in science, so is skepticism rooted in evidence. Until a verified specimen is found, alive or dead, the Sasquatch remains a legend, not a fact. It occupies the same category as the Loch Ness Monster or Chupacabra, enduring myths that reveal more about human psychology than zoology. The search may continue, but science demands more than shadows in the woods. I hope you found this report informative and engaging. Admittedly, it's a condensed version of a much larger body of data, and I'm aware that some critical points may have been omitted. The sheer volume of information made it challenging to fit everything into this brief presentation. If upon reflection, you feel that I've neglected a vital aspect or overlooked a crucial detail, please don't hesitate to reach out and share your thoughts. Your input is invaluable in helping me refine and improve the report.